wife and then flies them all the way back to Libya to Gaddafi. And we know this because the former Foreign Secretary and Intelligence Chief, Moussa Koussa, who fled from Libya to Qatar as Gaddafi was toppling, left a lot of paperwork in his office. And one of the letters was from this Sir Mark Allen, ex-MI6, currently BP, who was crowing about the success of this British intelligence-led operation to get Belhaj and saying, you know, here he is, have him as a gift. We hope that you'll be pleased with us. I mean, how disgusting is that?
Blair's dirty laundry increasingly became the subject of mockery in the media.
Yeah, he was basically a gift, Gaddafi. Blair and Strawn needed a present for their favourite dictator. You know, maybe they'd get one in return, oil rights, or, I don't know, a bung when you leave office. That won't go in.
Extraordinary accusation there.
Extraordinary, suggesting that Mr. Blair has made a huge amount of money since leaving a rather bloodstained period when he was in charge. Yes. I do hope that doesn't get through.
Yes.
Mr. Blair chose his words very carefully when asked if he knew what was going on.
Your government's been accused of being complicit in the rendition of Abdel Hakim Belhaj. Did you have any knowledge of that?
No, as I say each time I'm asked about the Belhaj case, I mean, I don't have any recollection of it at all.
But for all his ducking and diving, the dirt was finally beginning to stick to Teflon Tony.
Tonight, 3 former UK ambassadors and major public figures have called for Tony Blair's removal as Middle East envoy.
Mired in scandal, Blair finally resigned in 2015, his cloak of respectability torn away.
Tony Blair has cancelled a high-profile book signing of his memoirs in London on Wednesday after protesters threw eggs and shoes at him in Dublin.
You going to read it?
No, I'm going to burn it. I'm not reading this. This is a book written in blood. I was actually just hoping to make a citizen's arrest on Tony Blair. I feel very strongly that the war was illegal.
I would have to arrest Tony if I saw him today, and that doesn't make for good inter-family relations. Welcome.
This is quite nice and quiet in here, I would have thought. Aren't you worried that we're going to leap forward and perform some sort of citizen's arrest on you?
No, I'm sort of...
You're safe. It might happen.
You never know.
Tony Blair, once immensely popular, now lingers at the edge of British politics like a bad smell.
In the court of public opinion, he is despised. That's a strong word, but I think that is the situation.
With his reputation at rock bottom, Blair made an enemy of the one man who might have helped him limit the damage. The Blair-Murdoch alliance had grown so strong that Tony became godfather to Rupert and Wendy's daughter when she was baptised in the River Jordan. But rumours then spread that Blair had enjoyed a dalliance with Wendy. Murdoch immediately divorced her.
This is a disaster for Tony Blair, because whatever the truth of the Blair-Wendy Deng story, the fact is Rupert Murdoch thinks it's true. And these days, it's Blair versus Murdoch. What a shame somebody has to win.
The killings of Tony Blair have left the future of the Labour Party and British politics hanging in the balance. But his most damning legacy is in the Middle East. The destruction of Iraq spawned a Frankenstein monster, ISIS.
We actually had a military victory against Al-Qaeda in Iraq. We basically eradicated it. But we didn't do anything to make sure the politics was sorted out, that the state actually operated fairly to all the peoples that make up Iraq. And because of that, we created a vacuum, which then created ISIS. We are responsible for this.
They planted the seeds of terrorism in Iraq. After they occupied Iraq, terrorism spread not only in Iraq but across the region.
ISIL is a direct outgrowth of Al-Qaeda in Iraq that grew out of our invasion, which is why we should generally aim before we shoot.
Blair can try and make us believe that without his intervention in Iraq, it would be in a worse state than it is now, which is frankly incredibly difficult to believe. But what to quote John Lennon, is, how do you sleep at night? You know, it's that. It's as a person.
The flames of Tony Blair's legacy continue to spread ever further. European capitals are on lockdown for fear of more Paris-style attacks. In Afghanistan, the Taliban are fighting ISIS for power amidst a new sea of poppies. And Britain is at war again. But in truth, Tony Blair is a mere symptom of the West's wider malaise. An economic system run by and for the super-rich, the corruption of political parties, wars fought for profit and resources, and all fueled by a common evil, greed. In the end, Tony Blair succumbed to that evil, becoming a pariah in his own land. For, as Jesus' disciple Mark once told us, "What shall it profit a man if he shall gaineth the whole world, only to lose his own soul?"